Today we're going to be doing some maintenance on the AC equipment, and so we're going to be working outside here at the condensers. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to clear about a foot of space around the units. Just any beads, anything that makes stuff into the fins. Okay, and the next step is you want to clean the outside of these fins. Okay, so here's looking at one of the condensers, and you can see it's pretty banged up down here. They do make special tools where you can open these fins up. You can use a butter knife, but basically by having these fins bent in, it's not good for it. It's going to run a lot less efficient. So that's one thing you want to look for. I mean, this unit's old. It's probably about 14 years old, so it's got a lot of damage. I'll do what I can, but obviously it's pretty bad. One thing you want to do is you can just run a vacuum and try to get some loose sediment out. Okay, so I finished vacuuming the outside condenser coils, and you know, it may not seem like you're doing much, but I'll show you here. I mean, this was clean before. So it does get some stuff out of the way, and it does help. Every little bit helps. I mean, every little bit could be potentially saving you money. And the next step is you want to look inside the unit and see how much debris is at the bottom. And really, I have a few leaves, but it's not major. If you have 3 inches or 2 inches of crud, then you're going to want to open the top up and pull that stuff off. Make sure the power is turned off. Step is to look at the line set, and this is the copper line that's coming out of the unit. I'll zoom in so you can see what I mean. Alright, so again, you can see this insulation is off here, it's faded here, and this isn't something that you need to do every year. Probably every 5 years, if that, maybe even 10 years. And I forgot to mention, you're only worried about the bigger pipe. The smaller copper pipe has the refrigerant in it, and so we don't have to insulate that one. It's something to watch out for. So you can use zip ties here, you can use electrical tape. We'll get all this cleaned up and then we're on to the next step. So the next step is to actually get to your unit, and that may be in your closet, in your garage, in your attic, or for me, in my crawl space. And then I have a second one up in my attic. Okay, so we're in the crawl space now. You want to continue on with that condenser line, or the copper line. You can see there that it's obviously exposed. So we're going to fix the pipe insulation on the entire run. And you know, this looks pretty good, so it may just be repairing spots like this. But obviously I'm not going to drag the camera through. You can see I got maybe about 20 feet. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then here's the actual unit we're going to be working on. Okay, so obviously we got the power shut off. We're going to be opening this cover. Okay, so I got the cover off, and I wanted to show you the 2 pieces that we're going to be working on in here. And I'll have to grab the camera here and swing it around. This is the AC component, or the AC coil. And it has similar fins to what we saw outside. And so basically, you're just checking to make sure that there's no major debris. You can vacuum it out like we did outside. And then, if you pull this cover off, you can get into the other side and clean that side of the coils. And then, here's the blower. You just want to make sure that that's spinning freely, and I can't do much more beyond that without really opening this unit up. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's dripping water here, and that's because this condensation line is full of water. And so the way that happens is basically it's backed up with algae and crud and whatever. And so there's a few ways to solve this. I'll show you a way that usually works for me. So what I was talking about, that condensation line, I don't know if you can see that. That's full of water, so it's very important to clear that out. So you saw the condensation line inside in the crawl space, but if you don't know where it is or you can't see the pipes, you can usually find it outside. It'll usually have a slow drip. Sometimes the ground will be wet. And so here's where you're going to be working. Try to use a wet vac. And so obviously you want to take the filter out if it is a dry or wet vac. So you can see it's empty. We're going to see what this actually does. Sometimes you'll have a coupling that'll fit right over it. Sometimes you got to make up your own thing. I got some pipe fittings here that should do the trick. So it sounds like the vacuum's actually full right now. And it is. And just to show you, if you can see that, that's just nasty brown algae water. And so we're going to keep going like this. The reason why that's so important is because all that water we pulled out and the dripping you saw in my unit would be in your house somewhere. Now luckily for me it was in the crawl space, so it wasn't a huge deal, but you don't want water anywhere. And if that line or that unit is in your attic, that's going to be dripping in your attic, and obviously you're going to have some problems. So we're going to go around the corner and see if we can get the second floor unit and see what we can pull out of that one. Okay, so here you can see the second floor line, and it's this white line there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. But we did pull quite a bit out of there as well. You would think that being on the second floor, it would drain a little better, but you never know how they ran the pipes in the attic. And then the last step is the actual filter. And so these can be scattered throughout the house. They can be in the ceiling, they can be on the wall. And here it's right above me, so I'll show you that. So there you can see that filter. This just opens, and there's the filter. This is the upstairs unit, and we don't use it all that much, so this one's still very clean. It's only been up for about a month and a half. On the actual filter you'll see airflow, and obviously the airflow is going through that way. You just want to make sure you install that correctly.